Jennifer FitzGerald here at Deluxe Lifestyle Strategies, and thank you for joining me on my journey, my challenge to spread some education on how to make, save, and protect your money. Last episode, we were visited by retired firefighter and arson investigator who now teaches warriors with his book called Warrior Pose and courses that he teaches on finding your purpose in life and creating a business around that. If you missed it, make sure you check it out on the Deluxe Lifestyle Strategies YouTube channel. But today we have with us a good friend of mine, Miss Terry Records. Terry is a real estate investor, among many other things. She recently published her story titled Millionaire Mom, How I Turned $5,000 into $6.5 million. And I'm going to let her tell us a lot about that in a few minutes because I'm sure we all want to know that. So welcome, Terry. Thank you for being with us here today.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Jen. This will be great. I'm excited to share with you guys.
Awesome. So we met Terry like about a year ago, I think, right? And yeah. I must say that I'm one of those people who is just constantly busy. I've always had dozens of plates spinning at any given time, right? But when I met you, I was like, whoa, I feel like the turtle in the race because Terry...
I'm a maniac, yes, I am a maniac.
Right? You do so many things, and not just to make money, but also to help people in your community, both here in Southwest Florida as well as other places. I know like North Dakota and such, really giving back, paying it forward. So I just got to say that you are an amazing woman that I look up to.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your story. How did you get started in the world? Were you always this motivated in life?
No, I originally was an occupational therapist and wanted control of my schedule. So I ended up in real estate back in the late 80s. And then nobody in my family had been self-employed before, and that was a new venture. And I just did whatever they told me to do and started seeing some small successes. And along the way, I became a single mom and with no support and had to figure out how to create an income and how was I going to supply, money for my kids' future.
Right.
And so that was kind of how my story started.
Okay, awesome. So I know your husband now is a contractor, so you actually got into real estate before meeting him?
I did.
Okay.
I did. What happened is I in 1991, my story started out, I simply needed a place to live. I ended up buying a principal residence that needed some work and didn't have the money to fix it up, but just worked my butt off. And then kind of kept plugging away with real estate, found an opportunity. I ended up buying a property. My grandfather left me $5,000. And so that's what my book is about, is that $5,000. I stood there in an open house in a vacant building with no heat in St. Paul, Minnesota for a weekend. And
oh my God.
Ended up buying this property, had to figure out how to come up with money to fix it up. And I did. The first property I did and figured out how to do tenants took like a year and a half. And then my problem is my seed corn. Yeah. A lot of people only have so much cash, and it's like, how do you get your cash back to keep going? And in those days,
right.
It was really hard to do that. And so then I actually figured that out about a year and a half later. And then I was faster on my next property. And eventually I ended up with about 100 rental units, 26,000 cash flow per month, worth about 6.5 million. But my husband, Jason, he came along in the story at about, I probably had 25 units. And he also was he was a truck driver at that time. He was also a carpenter, but he saw what we were doing, and I had surrounded myself. I found a client along the way and taught them what I was doing, and we were having a lot of fun. And so Jason's like, well, I want to do what they're doing, and I don't want to have this job job anymore. And so he had no money and bad credit. And I took him, and within 6 months, got him into 6 properties. He quit his job. And then I didn't date him until he actually wrote his first purchase agreement. Then I kissed him.
Got to be making some money first.
Yeah, so my first million, just so people know, the first million took about 8 years. So if you have a small amount to start with, it can take longer. It's kind of like that penny thing where you take a penny, you double it each day, and at the end of 30 days, you're rich. Same thing goes with this, because there were a lot of learning lessons. There were a lot of things to learn. I had no model to follow. Now things are different out there. I do real estate investment coaching nationwide now. And so those principles that I learned are what I teach my clients. Right. And so Jason, he's a contractor and a realtor and an investor as well. So.
Okay, awesome. So that I know I actually saw you on meetup groups and stuff long before we actually met. I'd seen a lot of your coaching meetups where you're teaching people how to do what you do. And I think when I originally saw you back then, you were kind of doing it for free. Right? Giving away the information. And last year, I know, because we were talking about how you were going to start down this journey where you were going to decide to be really serious about the teaching side. Is that where you're ultimately headed? Are you going to continue doing your own investing or just on the sharing knowledge?
Yeah, no, it was kind of interesting. It was a revelation in the last week or so. I was doing some personal growth and exploring in a high-powered group that I was in, and I actually realized I'm really not motivated by money. I'm more motivated by learning and educating others, which transcends. I mean, certainly you need money to live on, but so I love coaching and teaching. So what I've done is I've spent the last year, blood and guts, learning how to take what I've been teaching people locally into a national arena. And yes, a lot of what I educate is free, but then I've got to live too. And there's other big gurus out there that charge anywhere from 35 to 70,000, but I'm not doing that kind of a realm. But I'm coaching people, and there are some people who want more one-to-one. And if you simply just happen upon any old realtor or loan officer out there, and you say, I want to buy an investment property, well, they'll just sell you one, but it won't necessarily be based on your goals. Right. And the problem is a lot of times you end up using what's called your seed corn, your cash, and you don't have any way to get it back. And if you've got to be strategic about it, otherwise you won't be able to fill your bigger goal if you have a bigger goal behind that. Right. And so what I do is individualized coaching. I've got clients in Hawaii, Maine, everywhere in the United States, and I learned how to coach online and remotely, but they use me one-to-one, like I'm in their hip pocket. I can help them learn how to estimate repairs on the spot, negotiate deal, all kinds of things. It's pretty interesting. So I've done that. So now I'm not tied with, because I'm an owner, broker, realtor, I'm not tied with that I have to be in Southwest Florida to sell a house now. I'm actually out. I'm at a house right now previewing for my client in Indiana, finding them what I call a market anomaly. Right now, there's an anomaly in our area about vacation rentals, and things been a little sluggish. So I'm shopping for him to find him the best one, because right now the prices went down a little, right, and the vacation rental rents went up, and so there's a little window right now to make a little money because they're starting to pay off in certain target price zones. So those are called market anomalies. Those I mentioned in my book, my Millionaire Mom book, market anomalies and how to time yourself in the marketplace, that kind of a thing. So a lot of my education is free. You can see some of my education. I've got an online course too, and it's at rentfliprun.com. And you can actually see some of those webinars that you're talking about, Jen. I was doing it more local, and now I've recorded those things. And so anywhere, I'm educating people throughout the country. Perfect. And it's kind of nice because my biggest thing was Jason and I like to be genuine and personal. And it's like, how do you take that and convey that online? Right. But when I answer the phone, the women are saying, Terry, they feel like they know me already. So I think we've accomplished that. So we're able to convey that and still be a personal touch for people. So we're really excited. I'm just launching. I bought a little retro RV, and that's kind of like momish and grandma-ish. I'm a grandma. And I had to pull my big girl panties on and learn how to back it up. And my neighbor helped me because he's helping some folks out in North Dakota right now with an oil business. He's setting them up. But so I said, oh, I can do this. It's my Millionaire Mom book. I'm supposed to be independent anyway. So I'll just go to my book tour and I do a signature piece called Should You Rent It, Flip It, or Run?
Right.
In different cities. And I teach people about how to evaluate a property on the spot. Because I would like you to know in 10 minutes, are you going to buy this thing or not? Or how much are those repairs going to cost? So that's one of my signature pieces. So I do that in different cities. Then I get to know the city too. And my second phase goal next year is to take investors to different cities that I put strategic teams together to invest.
Oh, wow. So that'd be like a little small, intimate mentoring group. That's awesome. I know
actually investors purchasing in that area with that realtor, that kind of a thing. So so we have different kinds of coaching. One is like I'm doing one-to-one with you and you involve me. Like one client called the other day. He's like, well, we're going to buy this property. I said, what the loan officer tell you? He says, they said 10% down. I said, no.
No.
Qualify for 5% down and you're going to do a rehab loan because that's going to save you $85,000 cash. Then we can go buy something else, right? But a lot of people take your money and you have to be protective and you got to know how to stop that. So that's one of the phases. So we do the one individualized coaching. People who can't do that or they're newer and they want to go a little slower, I have online coaching. I have it so that I can go purchase property for other investors, that maybe are too busy to go do their own portfolio. Jason and I can be their personal investment purchase people for them. So anyway, lots of fun stuff.
That's awesome. Oh my God. Now I'm like, you've been saying all these awesome, like little nuggets here and there, which tie into actually some other interviews that I've done. I did one with a mortgage person and he was talking about like different ways of doing loans and not spending as much and everything. You're saying so many things. I'm like, your book must be like 500 pages long, right? There's so much stuff in there.
I'm also doing an audio, but I have to go record it in the next 24 hours for the third time because the first time I recorded it, my laptop ate it. And then I recorded it on Zoom and it was too garbled because I didn't have good enough internet. And so now I have to learn a new program and I'm going to get it. So if you end up with the audio book, it will be me, I think, unless third time's a charm or I'm going to say screw it. We'll see. I don't know which way it's going. But it is on Amazon pre-order right now. And on May 1st, it will be fully out there.
Okay.
Millionaire Mom, how I took 5K to 6.5 million.
We'll have that link below too. So.
Yeah. So that's exciting. I'm just very,
super cool. So I know the title says, and we heard it already, that you started with $5,000, but I'm sure that some of my listeners are super interested in this type of investing, yet they might be thinking, well, I don't even have $5,000. What would you say to someone in that situation currently?
Well, usually what I do is we start out with your goals and we say, what are your goals? What is it that you'd like to create? It could be real estate related. It could be, I want to open a coffee shop. But real estate can be a modality to get you there. So you really have to spend some time with the big dream. And then what we do is we take stock of where you're at in your journey. And one of the first thing that I think there's two games everyone should play. And one I call the principal residence game. So if you don't have anything to start with, then you always should consider your principal residence and try not to find your ultimate house. We all get caught up in that. We find our ultimate house and we don't want to move again.
I know that.
Strategic with that principle, and let's just make it a 1-year window, right? So we find a low down payment program, and you get in there, and maybe it's not your ultimate place, maybe it's not the ultimate neighborhood, but maybe those numbers make sense, and you get started with that. Because if you don't get started, you're not going to have any cash. And see what the IRS says is you can sell your principal residence once every. If you've lived in it 2 of the last 5 years, you can not pay gains. So you could find one that needed work and do some sweat equity within a rehab loan and then, wait for that and either move out and convert it to a rental, or maybe you buy a duplex to start with. And then you have some equity later and you've got a little cash to help your seed corn to get you started. So if you don't have anything, definitely probably would end up starting with that. But that's not end all. I mean, back in the days when I did this, I didn't need private or hard money, but we all experienced the downturn, and I had to learn a new concept, private funding. And I paid another coach. I paid a guru, and I ended up into that guru for like 60 grand. But I learned I didn't have to. I knew all the other things they were teaching. I just didn't know private and hard money. It was just foreign. I didn't have anybody else to lean on. So I paid a coach to learn that. When I did that, and I came to Southwest Florida, the next 25 houses I did with no money, none of my own money, anything I own here. I didn't buy one property with my own money. And so that return on the investment's infinite because I have nothing into it, right? Because I applied private funding, but you've got to be willing to give it up. So that's something that I teach is people how to attract. It's not so easy as finding someone. It's you have to create the opportunity. And that's actually how I got Jason when I mentioned the first time in the book, way back when. I didn't know that's what it was called at the time, but I showed him how to find private funding in order to be able to purchase those properties. And so quit his job ultimately, which is what he did way back then. So that's another way to get started, but you got to be willing to do what I tell you to do in order to get money to get started. Otherwise, it's going to take you a little bit longer. So that would jettison you faster, like it did with Jason. He quit his job in 6 months. But for someone else, if you just play the principal residence game, that's going to take you a little bit longer, but at least it gets you started. And every day you delay you're delaying to get started. And right now is a great time because our prices have hiccuped a little. And so, there's about a 10-20% difference in pricing in certain price ranges in our area right now because we had red tide, because season, and there was just a little thing going on. So you can, you may be able to find, there's still a lot of competitiveness out there, not enough housing, but pricing is off just a titch. I don't think we're heading into a downturn in our marketplace like we saw before at all. We might have this hiccup. It might stay, it might not. But it's really, that means, if you invest at a time when when everybody else is sleeping, that's usually when the best deals are there. When everybody else jumps on the bandwagon, you probably missed the prime part of the market.
Right. Right. Well, that is awesome advice, Terry. And thank you so much for sharing with us today. You can actually go to her book. Like I said, the link is down below. I'm also going to include her Facebook link. You definitely should get on and follow this woman. I mean, obviously, listen to all the things that she just gave away right now, but that's like literally a drop in the bucket when you look at what this woman knows about the real estate world. Terry, is there just one
thing you could do? Yeah, one thing you could go book a call with me, and you go to Terry with a Y, terryandjason.com/talk to Terry, and you'll book a call in my schedule.
Awesome. So is there like one tiny piece of wisdom? I don't want you to give away so much. You gave away so much already. But just before we close up real quick, one tiny little thing like that, just get somebody started at taking action.
I would say you need to find somebody who really knows what they're doing to learn about the marketplace. You've got to know your marketplace inside and out, and not just by talking to a couple people, because you really don't know that.
Right.
And a lot of people shop by looking online. You've really got to pound the pavement like I'm doing today. I'm looking at 15 houses in order to find that deal. I can look online at all the pretty pictures, but that's not going to help a lot. You've got to get in and you got to touch and feel and learn your market intimately to know what's going on. And don't trust so-called qualified professionals you think you might meet. You need to learn the information so you can control your real estate destiny.
That's awesome. Thank you again, Terry. My beautiful people out there, I would love to hear your thoughts on our episode today. Have you ever considered using real estate to take your life to the next level? Make sure you leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Definitely make sure that you don't miss the next episode. Hit the subscribe button now. Next time I'm going to be talking about your debt score and why it should be named as such rather than a credit score, and different tactics to raise it. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all listed below. I hope I have inspired you with new ideas or thoughts today on how to improve your life. Now it's your turn to go inspire someone. I'll see you next time. Thank you, Terry.